Good morning. Just making sure we're connected as always. Making sure all the audio is coming through. Good morning. You will need some type of cushion again today for our meditation. So if you have that near or handy, whether it's a meditation cushion, a rolled up blanket, a pillow, anything that you've got near, go ahead and grab that. We'll use that today. We'll be doing an 11-minute meditation to honor the blue moon and to honor some of the very powerful transitions that are moving through right now. So I'm going to ask for your understanding in advance. I did plan to spend a little more time, and I set the expectation that we would be talking about Scorpio season, but I'm really feeling moved to have our focus be on the full moon, on the blue moon that welcomed us this morning, and see if we can channel that a little bit more, because I think it's going to make this Scorpio season sort of settle and be grounded a little bit. So I'll show you very briefly the tarot cards that have to do with Scorpio, and that is death, which is seems very appropriate when whether you celebrate Samhain or Dia de los Muertos or Halloween, All Hallows Eve, or whether you celebrate nothing and you're just kind of figuring out what your rituals are. Scorpio season is traditionally thought of as this time of death. And when we hear death, it can be kind of scary. It can be something that hits our nervous system quite a bit because just being a human here in this time, and especially during a global pandemic, we're kind of all have this journey to go through when it comes through dealing with our relationship to our own mortality, the mortality of those that we care about in our life. There's a quote that says, how strange it is to love something death can touch. And I've definitely felt that before. And I guess my invitation for us today is to work with our attachments to death and think about it more of a transition. A death can be a rebirth. A death can be a transformation. A death can be a new beginning. It doesn't always have to seem like so permanent. It can deal with any sort of change, right? So I guess it's the imagery I want to point out to you in this one. So like I had a much what I would consider like scarier deck, but this one is from the Holy Spectrum Tarot. And I'm actually not thinking that you can see like how beautiful the artwork is here, but it's a skeleton kind of curled up in this fetal position, and there are a bunch of beautiful flowers surrounding it. And so it's very much like a coming home to self type moment. And it's very much being surrounded by that nature and letting what needs to move beyond. There's another quote too from, it's either like Star Wars or Game of Thrones, I'm not sure. But it says, let the past die, kill it if you have to. And this is kind of the same thing, like noticing these patterns of what is stagnant, what no longer wants to stay around, what's not really supporting us, what can just go beyond. And with that imagery, we see that like whatever we let go, we have this fear of death, we have this fear of changing, we have this fear of transitions, because we're like, what happens when I don't have this thing anymore? What happens when this piece of myself isn't a part of my identity anymore? What happens? And somehow we may think that we are less. Sometimes you may feel like, oh, now I'm lacking, rather than going, okay, what am I actually opening myself up to? What am I creating space for? What am I inviting into my life by letting the rest of that pass? And just knowing that that old stagnant energy, it's the same as compost. It's the same as like the peelings from your vegetables that you're not going to use. You don't need those pieces anymore. You can just pay it forward to something else in this cycle. And in the Rider Waite deck, this is a very more like hopeful, what I would like for us to channel this hopeful vision of death. So you do have the skeleton still, you can see his face, but he's a knight. And even though we are seeing all of these different deaths and things at the bottom, we have the white flower, we have this flag of victory. The white flower is very much significant of new beginnings. So how does that semisonic song go? Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. That's very much the energy that we're working with this Scorpio season. Then we have our second full moon of October, which is why it's called a blue moon. We had 2 full moons in this month, and it's in Taurus, which means we're giving this big, grounded, fixed earth sign energy. So we got Taurus with the full moon, we've got Scorpio in that season. And what does that give us? It gives us more time to practice the container with the creativity in it. Am I grounded in Taurus to feel that Scorpio creative energy in there? And Taurus with that fixed sign is really saying, have you been putting your money where your mouth is? Have you been taking the right actions? Have you been standing firm, even if it means standing alone, by saying, hey, if I say that I am this person, if I say that my values are this, is that actually what I'm putting out into the world? Am I actually leading with integrity? Am I actually leading with character? Am I making that be at the forefront? And there can be a lot of paradox with that. We can say we want to live by certain ideals. We can say that we care about a certain cause, but are we backing it up with action? Are we letting those values really ground us so that when this new transition comes through, we can be grounded in those values and we can let all the other stuff fall away? So, for example, if you've got a lot on your mind, if you're dealing with things, if your friends are dealing with things, if there are things in the world that you would like to see changed, rather than just complaining about it, can you vote? Can you take the time to go ahead and move through the world in the way that you claim to want to be doing it? So that's what we're going to work on today. We're going to do a little bit of grounding, warm-ups for that Taurus energy. And then we're going to return back to very beautiful Antar Naad meditation. That's the one with the lotus that opens. And we let everything else go back to be composted. So we'll get closer to that mantra when we get closer to meditation time. 11-minute meditation. But let's go ahead and spend some time getting grounded. So bring yourself onto your mat. In a grounded cross-leg position. Start to settle yourself. Maybe pull the fleshy parts out from underneath your bum. And just begin to connect to your senses. So bring that gaze inward and upward. Let the blinds of your eyelids close. And just begin to focus on the breath here. Deep inhale. Complete exhale. Breathing in and out through the nose, noticing where the breath inhabits the body. Letting everything else fall away, just so that you're focused on this moment, this breath. In Kundalini, we focus on the awareness piece. Only once we have an awareness are we able to change anything. Take a moment to notice where the breath is originating from. Do you mostly feel it in the belly? Do you mostly feel it in the chest? Do you mostly feel it just moving through the nose? How can you take one step further to deepen that relationship with your breath today? Take a moment now to focus on the body, noticing the areas that are touching the ground. Your base, your foundation, supporting you today. It may be the side of your foot, a calf, maybe an ankle, the sides of your leg, the sit bones at the base of your spine. Notice how these areas connect. Notice where you may feel a bit of tension. And anchoring to the breath, allow that next exhale to let you relax a little bit deeper into this posture. Scan the body once more and notice where you may be hanging on to a bit of tension in the body. So we can scan the face, the neck, the shoulders, the chest, the belly, any areas in the arms. We spent our last 2 weeks practicing how to put down that tension, put down that pain. Can you build upon that practice today? And now would be a good time to set an intention for today's practice. And through the next few days, as we still channel this blue moon energy, what's been coming up for you lately? In which ways are you being called to evolve? To step more fully into your authenticity, your integrity? What is one quality that you can embody that can help you get there? Not from a place of perfection, but just progress, just one step closer from where you are now to where you would like to be. When you've got that quality in your mind's eye, go ahead and visualize yourself writing it down on your favorite color post-it and sticking it just to the inside of your forehead, right at that third eye. May you allow the present moment. May you allow your breath. May you allow this one quality of intention to anchor you during today's practice. So once you have that intention solidified, go ahead and take a moment now to rub the palms together briskly at heart center, creating a little bit of heat and activating energy to seal that intention. And when you feel that that is set, that you're in the right space to connect and commit to that today, go ahead and find center at heart stillness. Press those palms together. Inhale deeply, bring the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, and down and back so that these sit just a little lower than before. Now we'll call on that infinite wisdom or the creative consciousness by chanting the Adi mantra 3 times. Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. And inhale to tune in. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. Apply rule bend. So squeeze or pull up slightly on the pelvic floor. Imagine that energy spiraling all the way up from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. Before it's uncomfortable, exhale slowly through the nose. Let the hands come down either to the tops of the legs or to the ground, depending on if you think you need some more stabilizing energy today. And just witness the space that you've created here. Still anchored by your breath, scan the body and notice any place where you still may feel a bit of tension. And take a moment to celebrate any areas where you may already be experiencing some expansion, just from projecting and vibrating your own voice. Very good. When you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. We're going to move into some warm-ups now. So let yourself come into tabletop. You're going to cat-cows, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Working with the breath here on the inhale, let the belly drop, let the chest lift. Exhale, round out and away, pushing out from the ground. Moving at your own pace, you just want to invite some flexibility into the spine here. You got the palms down. Let yourself equally distribute that weight through your fingertips as well. If you're experiencing any type of pain, you can always put those hands into fists and let that support you here. Whatever's going to feel best for your body. Maybe once you start to feel a little bit more flexibility, you pick up the pace. Maybe you invite some of that Scorpio energy into your practice with new ways of movement. So maybe you slightly do a bit of a rotation. It's really just whatever's going to get that flexibility open up to you. This is your practice today. Very good. Inhale forward. On the exhale, let yourself come down onto your knees into child's pose. And depending on how your back feels, maybe you need some extra cushion, some extra love today. So I'm going to show Ahmad, this is just putting a blanket underneath the heels to give some pressure up at the knees. This is putting a bolster underneath my torso. So I have a little bit more room to breathe here. Forehead to the mat. Kind of relaxing into that cushion. Long, deep breathing here. Noticing what that breath feels like in the back body. And breathe, exhale. Wash over you with warm water. Relaxing, softening. Before we move out of this, we're going to do 3 rounds of deep inhale through the nose. Exhale powerfully through the mouth. 2 more. Very good. Next inhale. Bring the palms underneath the shoulders. Use those hands to slowly push yourself up, letting your head be the last to lift. Slowly making your way to standing. Getting some stretches in the backs of the legs here now. Letting the feet spread as wide as the hips, maybe a little bit wider depending on what you need for your stability. Doing a little bit of stretching here through the back leg, bending the knee as much as we need to. So the arms come out, up on the inhale, down on the exhale, opposite hand to opposite foot. Again, allowing as much bend in the knee as you need here. Hinging from the hips. Really feeling the weight through all four corners of the feet here. That Taurus energy is all about grounding. All about us and our integrity, our authenticity. Our ability to stand firm on our own 2 feet. Good. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Very good. Inhale up. Exhale down. Just forward fold here. Again, keeping as much bend in the knee as you need. Again, focusing on what it feels like to ground yourself through all four corners of the feet. Keeping as much bend as you may need. If you've been doing a lot of sitting, working from home, those hamstrings may be really, really tight. But still, we can ground through the feet. We can engage the buttocks there. We can energetically try to squeeze the inner thighs together. See how that influences or changes your foundation here. And then your next inhale with the knees. Let the hands come to just above the knees and push yourself up slowly, slowly, slowly. Lift. Hands come up overhead. And exhale, the hands come in at prayer, heart center. And you can make your way back to seated. So you're in a comfortable cross-leg position. Go ahead and let the nose begin to make circles. And again, anchoring yourself with the breath, inhaling as we rotate up, exhaling as we rotate down. On your next exhale, take a moment to pause. And then begin rotating in the opposite direction. Still inhaling up, exhaling down. Good. Slowly begin to make your circles smaller and smaller. Until you find a neutral space at center. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Bring yourself into sort of squatting position now. I'm going to do frog pose here. And if you need any type of support, again, you can put it underneath the heels here. Frog pose, just quickly, is a pose where you put the heels together and the feet are about in a 45-degree angle. Keep the heels lifted throughout on this one. So you let the hands come in front to support the body. On the inhale, push up to the balls of the feet, push up through the feet, let the knees come, let the nose come towards the knees. On the exhale, we lower back down. So inhaling up, exhaling down. And if you need some more assistance, that's where the blanket comes in, underneath the heels. So we'll be here just for a bit. Do as many as you can. You'll really feel it through, again, the backs of the legs, but that's why we're working on that grounding energy today. So begin. Very good. Okay, stay at standing and do a forward bend here. Forward fold. Again, let those knees bend as much as possible. Go through that foundation scanning, all four corners of the feet. Buttocks engaged. Inner thighs squeezed together energetically. Very good. Very nice. Exhale, slowly lower down. Come lying down onto your back for a moment of rest. Integrate that work that we just put in. Let your feet spread as wide as your mat. Let your arms fall away from the sides of your body. Let your breath regulate. Let it do whatever it would like. And just notice. If you can, stay connected to your body. Resist the urge to follow the mind into the storytelling for now. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. On your next inhale, bring the feet together, bring the arms up overhead. On your exhale, bring the knees into the chest, slowly, softly. Give yourself a hug. Rock from side to side. Give that lower back some love. And from here, you can either rock and roll along the spine at least 3 times to come up to seated, or you can turn yourself over to one side, lift yourself up. Very good. Okay, bring yourself back into squatting for another round of frog pose. This way this time. So again, heels are together, hands in front. When we are down, this is the exhale. And inhale, we lift and bring the nose to the knees. Begin at your own pace. Really keep those heels lifted. Pushing through the balls of the feet here. Good. Inhale, stay up. Exhale into a forward bend. Scan that body for your foundation. Notice how you're supporting yourself here. And on the next exhale, bring yourself down slowly once more. Lay on your back. Moment of rest. Feet as wide as the mat. Hands away from the body. Let the breath regulate, but stay connected to the body. Just notice. Don't run off with the mind, not yet. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. On your next inhale, bring the feet together, bring the arms up overhead. Your full body stretch. On the exhale, bring the knees into the chest. Slowly give yourself a hug. Rock from side to side. Very good. From here, find your way back to seated. Again, you can either rock and roll on the spine or simply turn over to one side and use your hand to push yourself up. We're going to move into our meditation shortly. So if you need to grab that cushion, bolster, you know how long we can sit. And yeah, we'll be here for 11 minutes. The mantra today, can you see this? Do I need to be closer? So it will be Sare Sa Sa. And when we say the R's, whether it's in Re or when we get to Har, the R is like a slap of the tongue against the palate of the mouth. So it'll be Sare Sa Sa, and we'll do that 3 times. Sare Sa Sa, Sare Sa Sa, Sarang. And then Har, which is spelled Har, but it kind of sounds like Hud, because again, we're slapping the tongue against the roof of the mouth. Har Re Har Har, Har Re Har Har, Har Re Har Har, Har Rung. So these 2 are repetitive and go 3 times. And when we look at Sa, Sa means infinity, totality, this thing that is always going on. And Har is creativity. So when you put it with Sare and Sarang, we're saying this infinite totality. Ooh, I brought the light in. This infinite totality is everywhere. And this creativity is everywhere. So when I think about infinity, I think of that infinity symbol and it looping and it just continuing and going on and on and on. And creativity, that's what we have within us to be able to change ourselves, mold ourselves, transform ourselves, rebirth ourselves constantly into new ways of being, right? So when we add the mudra with that, it's really quite lovely because we move into lotus mudra. So I'm going to start around the navel plexus area, or solar plexus, excuse me. In prayer pose, hands pressed together. And we're going to say Sare Sa Sa, and it'll start to come up towards the crown of the head. Sare Sa Sa. And when you get to the heart center, you'll begin to open up the fingers into lotus. So lotus is thumb and pinky stay together, all the other ones open wide like a lotus flower blossoming. Sare Sa Sa Sarang until we get to third eye. Then we go into reverse prayer. Har Re Har Har, Har Re Har Har, Har Re Har Har, Har Rung. Sare Sa Sa, Sare Sa Sa, Sare Sa Sa, Sarang. Har Re Har Har, Har Re Har Har, Har Re Har Har, Har Rung. So if you see the symbolism, the visualization here, it's like we are opening, blossoming into new ways of being. And then like that one card, we are letting everything else move back down, be composted back into the earth. So the ground and the earth supports us, but we're also giving back to that as well. It's not just a one-sided relationship here. So reconnect to that quality that you had on that Post-it on your forehead. Think about your container. Think about your creativity. Think about the ways you're being called to transform. Keep your water close during this time. And good luck on meeting yourself today. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Har Re Har Har Re Har Re Har Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Ram. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa 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 ram. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Ram. sa re sa re sa re sa re. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa re sa re sa re. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa re sa re. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa re sa re. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa re sa re. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa re sa re. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa re sa re. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa re sa re. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa re sa re. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa re sa re. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa re sa re. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa re sa re. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa re sa re. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa re sa re. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa re sa re. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa re sa re. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa re sa re. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa re sa re. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa re re sa sa sa. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Har Re Har Har Har. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa sa sa. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har Har. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa sa sa. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Har Re Har Har Har. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa sa sa. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Har Re Har Har Har. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa sa sa. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa sa sa. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Sa re sa 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 re sa 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 re sa sa sa. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har Har. Har Re Har 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 Re Har Re Har. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Keep that gaze inward just for a moment. Witness the space you've created. Scan the mind and notice either how active or how at peace it is. Scan the body for any sense of expansion or feelings of tension. How can you soften into this during our deep relaxation? So let yourself come onto your back for some rest and integration of all the work that you've put in today. Let yourself come lying down onto your back. Let your feet spread as wide as your mat. Let your hands fall away from the sides of your body, palms facing up. Maybe you've got release showing up in different ways today. Always natural. As you lay on the ground, let yourself soften into the floor. So the shoulders fall away from the ears. So head and neck rest gently against the ground. Relax the tops of the feet. The ankles. calves and knees. Relax the thighs. Relax the hips. As you relax the breath, relax the belly, relax the lower back. Relax the rib cage and the shoulder blades as you soften deeper into your support. Relax the arms. Relax the elbows, the wrists, the hands. Once again, make sure that the shoulders are away from the ears. Tuck those shoulder blades underneath the body in a comfortable position. Relax the neck. Relax the jaw so there's space between the teeth. Relaxing the lips, the muscles on the face, the eyes behind the eyelids. Brow, forehead, scalp are all at ease as your head rests gently against the ground. Take this time now to rest as your body integrates all the work that you've put in today, allowing it to heal its 3 trillion plus cells. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. As you return back to your body in this moment in time and space. Begin to invite tiny movements into your fingertips and toes. Begin to circle the feet around the ankles and the hands around the wrists in all directions. With your nice big inhale, bring the feet together, bring the arms up overhead for a full body stretch. On the exhale, slowly bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug. Rock from side to side. Again, just giving that lower back some love. From here, begin to rub briskly together the soles of the feet, the palms of the hands. Rub the tongue along the roof of your mouth. And from here, either rock and roll along the spine or simply turn over and push yourself up with one arm. Coming back to seated. And let that hands come back into heart center. Bringing that gaze inward one more time to reconnect with that quality that you set as an anchor for today's practice. Taking a moment now to send your peace and blessings to continue to channel this quality as you move forward through this transition. And sending your peace and blessings to anyone else in your life, anyone you may encounter along your journey. Maybe you'd like to see this quality reflected in others as well. So we'll close now with the long time sunshine song. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. And inhale to sing. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. May we be happy. May we be healthy. May we be holistically in union, mind, body, spirit. May we navigate these transitional times with compassion and grace in order to move one step closer to our divine authenticity. Salam. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. And I want to wish the best to everyone, depending on whatever you're celebrating today, whether it's Samhain or Dia de los Muertos, Halloween. If you're just figuring your own thing out and making it up as you go, that is totally okay too. So Satnam, and I will see you next week. Bye.